Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ModzvilleUSA here, back with another video. And one of the things I see whenever I post PS2 Modchipped installs, one of the most common things going around is that if you install a Modchipped in your PS2, you'll no longer be able to use Freemcboot, and even further, I see a lot of speculation that if you install a Modchipped, that homebrew no longer works. Whole lot of misinformation. So I'm going to put this video together. We'll likely be, forwarding people to this instead of answering the same dumb questions all the time. Might get a little convoluted. There's a million ways to skin a cat, as they say, but no, you can totally run homebrew on a Modchipped PS2. Just a little side note, I do plan to do another video on this, but my preferred way to set these up is I like to flash Mekapoon, and I don't do the drive unlocked one because that breaks PS1 support. I always get mine from Japan, and I use Mekapoon to change the region to US, as well as that will unlock region free, full region free for PS2 and PS1. And PS1 will also be able to play backups, and Mekapoon actually handles PS1 games, the booting of PS1 games, better than any of the Modchippeds. So if I'm playing PS1, say this one has a Matrix Infinity in it, I'm working on PS1 games, I will hold start to disable the Modchipped and just let Mekapoon take over and handle the PS1 support. Boots up faster, just a better experience, but that's a different topic for a different day. So I'm going to hook this guy up real quick, and we're going to boot it up. It's got the Matrix Infinity 2.0, which I sell on the mod shop. Down below, link if you need one. And this is my master Freemcboot memory card. So we're going to boot it up, and I'll show you what does not work with Freemcboot and a Modchipped. And this is a 90K. Another bit of misinformation worth clearing up is that the final revision, the 90,000 or the 90,001, whatever region you're in, that it does not work with Freemcboot. That is only true about 50-ish% of the time in my experience. The earlier revisions, Freemcboot still works. It's the much later ones where it's patched, so you'll know relatively quickly. And another weird little tidbit, let me know in the comments if you know why this might be, but my red Cinnabar one, when I got it, Freemcboot wasn't working. So I used free DVD boot to get into Mekapoon. I flashed it with Mekapoon, and then all of a sudden it started working. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, where Mekapoon solves that issue for you, but that did happen to me. Anyway, getting off on a couple tangents. I'm going to boot this up with Freemcboot, and I'll show you what does not work and how to get around it. Okay, PS2's booting up. As you saw, we got the Matrix logo, then Freemcboot, and then if you're configured, your Freemcboot memory card is configured by default, you will land here. And as you can see, we've got version 1.966, Freemcboot in the top left. Now this is where you're going to have issues, is this screen here, the hacked browser. So if we go to boot up one of these homebrew applications from here, we will likely end up on a black screen. So let's try OPL. And as you can see, we ended up with a black screen. Now what I'm going to do is reboot the system, and I'm going to hold R1. And as you can see, we booted right up into uLaunch.ELF. So if we come in here, go to MC0, that's our Freemcboot memory card. And let's say we have a second just vanilla PS2 memory card. What we could do easily is come over here, we go R1, copy that, go back out, go to MC1, I don't have one in there, we'd hit R1 again and paste it. And then if we took out the Freemcboot memory card, just had the vanilla one, put it in slot 1, held R1, we would still be booting straight into uLaunch.ELF. Now you can do that with anything. So say you want to boot straight to OPL. We've got, probably have it on here. So here's OPL, OPNP. You get the gist. We can copy this, copy it on over to a second memory card, a vanilla non-Freemcboot memory card, paste it, but it would, we want the format to be this: boot, all caps, folder called boot, and within that folder, BOOT.ELF. Whatever that is what the system will boot to. uLaunch.ELF, probably the simplest thing to use, because you can use uLaunch to boot up anything else. OPL, you need to configure it a bit better with some text files, but you could pull off the same thing with OPL if you wanted to. That's how you do it. And if you want to boot straight to homebrew, let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to reboot the console, and I'm going to hold triangle and circle. And here we are in the Matrix 2.0 menu here. These are, let's turn multi-disc on. These are my typical settings here. And what we can do is change the boot mode. So auto, it's just the generic, it will boot to the browser. But let's say we want to boot straight to whatever homebrew we have set as boot/boot.elf on our memory card. It can be the Freemcboot memory card, it will work. I'll show you, but it can be vanilla as well. So let's do dev1. Dev1 is memory card 1. Dev2 is an internal hard drive. This is not a FAT, nor is it a 70K slim with the IDE mod. So we're going to set it as dev1. I'm going to push start, and we're going to reboot the console. I'm not going to hold anything, and it should boot straight to uLaunch.ELF. And there you go. Didn't even get the Freemcboot screen. It bypassed all that, and it just loaded that file. So this is a very nice setup if, say you've got an MX4 SIO and you're only really interested in booting straight to OPL. Majority of the time you turn it on, you want to shoot straight to OPL. You put your OPL file on your vanilla memory card, or it could be a Freemcboot, doesn't matter, but I'd recommend just a generic vanilla memory card. Rename it boot.elf, put it in the folder boot, and it will boot straight there. And now say you have it set up like this where it's booting straight to a homebrew file, like we have it right now, and you want to boot into the system BIOS. If you hold cross on boot, it will bypass all of your settings, so you'll go straight into the browser. Now I have a little like write out that I send for pre-modded consoles, which has all the button combinations for the Matrix Infinity and their clones. So I want to go ahead, copy that, put that in a paste bin for you guys to enjoy, to play around with your Modchipped PS2s, because finding the information can be a bit difficult these days. So yeah, homebrew with a Modchipped PS2, totally doable. The only thing that's broken is the hacked browser, but there's a bunch of other ways to get around it, and this is how it was done before Freemcboot anyway, was loading it. Well, there was stuff like swap magic and other entry points, but yeah, you can totally play homebrew. I recommend setting uLaunchElf as your main, because it's you can easily get from uLaunchElf to any other homebrew application. But if you're really only interested in OPL, that is a good choice as well. So you can do it. It's just you're gonna need to put in some legwork to get it all working. But that's it. Just a simple little video. I wanted to try to clear up some of the information I constantly see about Modchipped not working with homebrew. It's just the little inconvenience of not being able to use the hacked browser in Freemcboot, but there's a million ways around it. So leave a like if you liked the video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.